Your desires remain stuck somewhere between the invisible world and physical reality. You vibrate at a high frequency, but you don't manifest. You feel the energy, but you don't see the results. There is a specific mental error that sabotages even the most dedicated practitioners of conscious manifestation. An error so subtle that it goes unnoticed by the awakened mind, yet so powerful that it completely cancels out your ability to materialize desires. Neville Goddard called this the divided state of consciousness. Jung identified it as the shadow of the spiritual self. Quantum physics reveals it as destructive interference of mental waves. Today, you're going to discover exactly what this error is, why it happens even when your vibration is flawless, and most importantly, how to correct it once and for all. Because the truth is, you already have the power to manifest. The problem isn't your energy. It's in how your mind processes that energy. If you've ever felt frustrated by vibrating at a high level but not seeing concrete results, this video will uncover the mystery behind that experience. Stay until the end, because I'll share how you can realign your mental frequency with your vibrational frequency. Neuroscience explains this through the concept of conflicting neural networks. When your conscious mind vibrates at one frequency and your subconscious operates at another, you create what physicists call destructive interference. It's like having two radio waves broadcasting on the same frequency but out of phase. The result is static. Your energy is flowing. You feel connected to something greater. Your chakras are aligned, your meditation is deep, you practice genuine gratitude every day. Still, that job you visualize doesn't appear. The ideal relationship remains distant. Financial abundance is still just a dream. This is the most frustrating paradox of conscious manifestation. Having the right vibration, but the wrong results. You're not failing at manifestation. You're manifesting perfectly, but you're manifesting the internal conflict between two versions of yourself. The version that meditates and raises your vibration, and the version that secretly doubts, fears, or sabotages. The problem isn't your ability to vibrate at a high level. The problem is that you're only vibrating high on the surface of consciousness, while deeper layers of your mind are operating at completely different frequencies. This explains why people who have never studied manifestation sometimes create extraordinary results, while dedicated practitioners remain stuck. They have a natural alignment between their conscious and subconscious. You have the knowledge, but not the integration. The error that is sabotaging your manifestation is called excessive spiritual identification. You have developed such a strong identity as a spiritual person that your mind has created an unconscious division. On one side, there is the spiritual self that meditates, vibrates high, and practices manifestation. On the other side, there is the human self that needs to pay bills, work, and deal with physical reality. This division is deadly for manifestation. Carl Jung said that the greatest danger of spiritual development is the inflation of the spiritual ego. You start to believe that material desires are less spiritual, that wanting money lowers your vibration, that seeking concrete results is attachment. Your spiritual mind then subtly sabotages your material desires. It allows you to feel the energy of abundance but blocks the materialization of that abundance. It lets you vibrate at the frequency of love but prevents that love from showing up in real relationships. This internal conflict creates what psychologists call spiritual cognitive dissonance. You want to manifest, but part of you believes that manifesting is less evolved. You raise your vibration but secretly judge your own desires. The truth is, the universe does not separate the spiritual from the material. That separation exists only in your mind. And as long as it exists, you will continue to vibrate high without manifesting, because you are literally manifesting the belief that the spiritual and the material cannot coexist. Imagine a radio tuned to a station, but with the volume on mute. The signal is coming through perfectly, but you hear nothing. Your vibrational frequency works the same way when it doesn't result in manifestation. The problem isn't the quality of your vibrational signal. The problem is that you're transmitting on one frequency and receiving on another. When you meditate and feel that expansion of consciousness, you are accessing higher frequencies. That's real. But the moment you open your eyes and return to your routine, your mind automatically tunes back into old frequencies. The frequencies of worry, doubt, and lack. Quantum physics teaches that observation collapses possibilities into reality. But you need to maintain consistent observation. If you vibrate abundance for 20 minutes during meditation and vibrate lack for the other 23 hours and 40 minutes of the day, which frequency do you think the universe is picking up? Your vibrational frequency during spiritual practice is like a peak on a mountain. But manifestation happens in the valley, in the consistency of daily life. If you can't maintain a high frequency during everyday situations, you're just visiting abundance, not living in it. The universe responds to your dominant frequency, not your occasional frequency. And your dominant frequency is the one you hold when you're not paying attention, when you're on autopilot in daily life. Your conscious mind is like the tip of an iceberg. It represents only 5% of your total mental activity. The other 95% happens in the subconscious, and that's exactly where the problem lies. While your conscious mind repeats affirmations of abundance, your subconscious is running scarcity programs that have been in place for decades. While you visualize success, deep layers of your mind are replaying ancestral fears of unworthiness, of not deserving, of things going wrong. This misalignment creates a silent internal war. Your conscious mind pushes one way, while your subconscious pulls the other. The result is energetic paralysis. Think back to your childhood. How many times did you hear things like, money doesn't grow on trees? That life is hard? That good people don't get rich? These phrases weren't just words. They became neurological programming, automatic circuits that activate whenever you try to manifest something different. Your subconscious doesn't understand spiritual evolution. It only understands survival. And if, during your early years, it learned that safety means scarcity, it will sabotage any attempt at abundance, even if your conscious mind has already evolved. The subconscious also operates through emotions, not logic. You might logically understand that you deserve abundance, but if you still carry shame, guilt, or fear at an emotional level, those emotions will always overpower rational understanding. That's why spiritual knowledge alone is not enough. You need to reprogram the deep emotional circuits, not just change your surface thoughts. There is a specific energy leak where you are manifesting your desires as something you don't have instead of something you already are. Every time you say, I want abundance, you are energetically affirming that abundance is something outside of you. Every time you visualize having the ideal relationship, you are positioning yourself as someone who doesn't have it. This energetic language creates a vibrational distance between you and what you want to manifest. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. The difference is subtle but fundamental. When you operate from wanting, you vibrate lack. When you operate from being, you vibrate completeness. And the universe always mirrors back exactly what you're vibrating. Neville Goddard taught that manifestation happens when you assume the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. Not when you are seeking, but when you are possessing. Not when you are waiting, but when you are celebrating. This shift in perspective completely changes your energetic signature. Pay attention to your thoughts today. How often do you think from a place of lack? I need money. I want to meet someone. I hope this works out. Each of these thoughts is programming the universe to keep you exactly where you are. Wanting, needing, hoping. The energy leak is in the time orientation of your consciousness. You are living mentally in the future of your desires instead of living in the present of their fulfillment. And the universe can only meet you where you truly are, not where you wish to be. The fragmented mind is one where different parts of you want different things. One part wants financial success. Another fears the responsibility that comes with money. One part desires a deep relationship. Another fears the vulnerability of intimacy. One part seeks professional recognition. Another hides out of fear of judgment. Each fragment of your mind is perfectly manifesting what it believes in. The problem is, they are manifesting opposite things at the same time. The result is mutual neutralization. The integrated mind works differently. It's when all parts of you are aligned in the same direction. There's no internal conflict, no unconscious sabotage. There's one single force moving toward the same goal. Think about moments in your life when you achieved something important. You probably remember a feeling of total clarity, where there were no doubts, fears, or hesitations. That's the integrated mind in action. All parts of you were working together. Mental integration doesn't happen by trying to eliminate the parts that create fear or resistance. It happens by talking to them, understanding their concerns, and finding ways to include them in the manifestation process. That part of you that fears success has a valid reason for that fear. Maybe it's protecting you from something that was traumatic in the past. Instead of fighting against it, you need to reassure it, show it that now you have the tools to handle the challenges that success may bring. Now that you understand the problem, let's move on to the practical solution. Fixing this mental block happens in 3 specific steps you can start implementing right away. Step 1. Identify the internal conflict. Spend a week observing your thoughts about what you want to manifest. Take notes when you think from a place of having versus being, when you feel resistance or when your energy shifts. Don't judge, just observe. You're mapping your unconscious patterns. Step 2. Dialogue with the resistant parts. When you notice a resistance, talk to it as if it were a real person. Ask, what are you trying to protect me from? What are you afraid of? What do you need to feel safe? Treat your resistances as misunderstood allies, not as enemies. Step 3. Energetic reprogramming through embodiment. Instead of visualizing having what you want, practice being the person who already has it. How does that person think? How do they move? How do they make decisions? Embody that version of yourself for a few minutes each day. The key is consistency, not intensity. It's better to practice for 5 minutes daily than for 2 hours once a week. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition, not through force. Remember, you're not trying to convince the universe to give you something. You're aligning your internal energy with something that already exists as a possibility. The universe doesn't need convincing. You need consistency. Start today. Choose one specific desire and apply these 3 steps. Your transformation begins the moment you stop fighting against yourself and start working with every part of who you are. The mental block that prevents your manifestation is a natural result of how you've been conditioned to separate the spiritual from the material, the inner from the outer, desire from fulfillment. Now you know that the problem was never your ability to vibrate high. The problem was the internal fragmentation that was sabotaging that vibration. Now you know that manifestation is about aligning all parts of who you are with what you want to experience. The transformation begins today, the moment you stop fighting your resistances and start working with them. Your conscious manifestation has just reached a new level. You don't need more techniques. You need more integration. You don't need to vibrate higher. You need to vibrate more consistently. If this content touched something deep in you, if you recognized your own patterns in this message, leave a comment sharing your biggest insight. Your experience may inspire others who are going through the same process. Subscribe to the channel for more content about consciousness and manifestation. Like this video if it brought clarity to something you were feeling but couldn't name. And remember, you already have all the power you need to manifest the life you want. Now, you also have the knowledge to use that power in an integrated and effective way.